Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. I am Ms. Dalal Hamdan and I'm going to teach you this course. Hope you all having fun and ready for a new semester. In our lesson today, we're going to start with this course with the introduction from the previous course, which is English 1, the first part of English 1. Let's go over and try to remember or recall what you have taken in the previous semester. If you haven't got your books for this semester, it will be all okay. What have we taken in the previous semester? It consisted of 4 units. The first one was titled Big Changes. The second was about careers. The third was about what will be, and the fourth was about the art of advertising. Which one did you have more fun while you were studying it? Was it the art of advertising? Was it the unit about careers, or the first one? Which one would you say this is my favorite? Which one was the easiest for you? Try to remember things that we have covered together in these 4 units and remember. In our lesson today, we're going to remember what we have taken in the first 2 units, big changes and careers. Let's try to remember all together. Let's start with the first unit. It was titled Big Changes. Now we're going to brainstorm things. What do you remember? From the word big changes, what comes to your mind? Any idea that comes to your mind? For me, I have came up with these ideas. The idea of change, changing from one situation to the other. Also, we're having new. Any change will lead to a new situation. Changing school, changing city, you will go to a new school or a new city. Also, we're having an effect. Every change is having an effect. What might happen afterwards? Also, we're having the idea of a result. There is a change, there is an effect, then we will have a new situation. This is the result. We have talked about global issues, the global issues that we are experiencing today, what might be the effect in the future. Global issues that happened in the past and their effect on us today. Also, the idea of immigration. We talked about immigration, people moved from one place to live in another. Vision 2030 that we are living nowadays. Vision 2030 is a kind of change, and we're having an impact, the impact or the effect. Any ideas or any other ideas that you can remember or comes to your mind when we say big changes? Any idea will be welcome. Okay, let's talk about some of the global issues. We have talked about many global issues. For each issue or maybe each situation, we are going to define it, what it is. Then we will, if we continue having this issue or this same problem, what might be the result? Let's try to name at the beginning. We will name the global issue. Here, let's look at this picture in here. In this picture, we can see a water tap. So the global issue is actually fresh water. Is it a problem? Because water is not enough for everyone. So keep wasting it is a problem. So fresh water scarcity is a problem. Let's come up with a fact. Any fact, anything that you know about fresh water. We can tell that only 2.5% of water on Earth is fresh. Yes, we all agree that 70% of planet Earth is covered by water. However, only 2.5% of this water, we can drink it. We can consume it as human beings. And this is part of the problem. If we keep wasting this water, what might be the result? Let's say 50 years later, or maybe 100 years later, the future generation. What is the effect? What might happen in the future? freshwater resources will decrease. There will not be enough water for everyone to drink, use, or consume. Okay? One more problem, or let's call it an issue. Let's look at this problem. It is actually, look at these animals. These are endangered animals. What do we mean by endangered? We're going to divide the word danger. Endangered, these animals are endangered. What do we mean by endangered animals? Which animals are endangered? Are they pets? Which animals are endangered? Facts: panda, tiger, African elephants are endangered. So if you are going to look for what do we mean by endangered animals that might extinct one day. So we are having these animals, however, they are in the danger of extinction. What is the effect if we keep killing or hunting these animals and we did nothing towards this problem? What might happen in the future, 2050 or in year 3000? In the future, some animals will extinct. We will have no more African elephants or pandas if we don't pay a good attention to these animals. They might be part of the future, just like the dinosaurs or the mammoth. Okay, one more problem that we have here. We're having planet Earth and we're having the sun and water. The problem here is global warming. Everyone is talking about global warming. Can you tell any fact about global warming? What is it? At least we can tell that it is actually the planet is heating up. Every summer is hotter, warmer than the previous one. And this is a fact. Every year is hotter or warmer than the previous year. Is it a problem? Yes, it could be. Because if we keep having the same thing, what might happen in the future? In the future, the sea level is going to rising. In the future, we might face this problem, which is the sea level is rising. We will have floods, more water, and many animals are going to die, and we will have limited spaces to live on. Okay. Then we've talked about the use of simple present and the present progressive. We're going to compare this and that, present simple and present progressive. When do we use the present simple? We use the present simple if we're talking about a routine or habit, something you do it every day. Let's talk about your daily routine. I take English every day, every weekday. If it is a fact, something that happens today, tomorrow, 10 years ago, 100 years later, water boiling. However, for the progressive tense, something is happening now. You are listening or you are watching an English lesson now, at the moment. Not for life, no, just now. Or if it is a temporary situation. What do we mean by temporary? Not forever, just this semester, just this day, for a very limited period of time. You're telling me that this thing is going to change. Okay, so the sun shines most days. You are telling me about a fact or a routine. Every day it shines. However, just for today, what's happening? Today it is not shining. Now you are telling me about a temporary situation. This is not happening every day, just for now or just for today. Next, he talks quietly. Now you are telling me about someone's habit. How does your brother talk? He is a quiet person. He talks quietly. Every day he talks quietly. However, now what is he doing? He is talking to a friend. Now he is talking. The action is in progress. Now. Next we have here, my family lives in Riyadh. You tell me that your family is in Riyadh and they don't think about the idea of moving out or changing the place. However, my brother is living in Jeddah for college. Is he thinking about going back to Riyadh or changing Jeddah? Yes, he is just for college for this 4 to 5 years, then he's planning to change cities. So these are the situations that will use present simple and present progressive. Let's try to do this exercise. Here we're having Alexa and Mrs. Lewis. Hi, Mrs. Lewis, where be Grace? We're speaking here about the verbs to be, which are in the present. We're having is, are, or am. The three is, are, or am in the present. So Grace, she, so we can use is. Where is Grace? Mrs. Lewis, she, with she, you will use a verb to be, which is. She is, they are, I am. She's still upstairs. And I think, when you think about something, can you use the progressive, something is happening at the moment, or the simple tense? It will be simple. I think. She finished her project. Now she is working on her project at the moment, now. So she is finishing her project. So I think she is working on it when? Now. Then Alexa's asking what you, and we will use do. I can see that someone is cooking, so I will ask her. I will say, what are you doing? Why are we using the progressive tense in here? Be plus the verb ing, because I can see something that is in progress at the moment, now. What are you doing? What are you doing now? You're listening and I am speaking. What are you doing now? Mrs. Lewis, I am making pizza. Now I am making pizza. Then, you hungry? She's asking her. Are you hungry? Notice we have used are because we're having you. Yes, I. Which verb to be we will use with I? Yes, I am. Grace and I meet friends. Maybe an hour later, we are meeting friends. So here we're having the present simple for things that will never change. However, for the present progressive, we will use it for things that are happening now or things that are about to happen or will change. Okay. Then we've talked about the use of the simple past and the present perfect. We're having here past and we're having present perfect. When do we use this and when do we use the present perfect? Simple past with the present perfect. We use the simple past when we're having a definite time. However, this definite time should be in the past. What did you do yesterday? What did you do in the previous holiday? Something that you did and you finished doing in the past. I have a time. Yesterday, last holiday. So I can tell I lived in Jeddah in 2010. It's not only lived and I have a very specific time. I lived in Jeddah that time. It's not about experience, it's about when. I lived in Jeddah 2010. However, for the present perfect, we don't have a time. No time is mentioned. I know that it happened in the past. However, when, no time is mentioned because we focus on the action that happened. So we can say, I have lived in Jeddah. When? In the past, maybe last year, maybe 2010, maybe it is 5 years ago. We use the simple past if we're speaking about an action that had finished. A finished action. It is not happening anymore. Like when we say, I read a book this summer. The summer that finished, I read the book and I finished it. I'm not reading it anymore. However, for the present perfect, we're speaking here about an experience or a result. We're speaking about the action itself, the thing that you still can remember, like I have read many books. I have read many books. I focus on the number of the books in here and the action that I have done. No time, and also we're having the action. I still can't remember it. I'm speaking about the action. Okay, now let's speak about the experience in here, as if you are visiting Saudi Arabia, and things that you have done and when did you do them. We'll speak about one of the activities, which is exploring the outdoors. Have you ever explored the outdoors? when did you do so? It comes with two sentences. One is the simple past, when, and the other you will tell me about your experience, maybe how many times have you done that. So I will say here, last year I went hiking in Riyadh. What have I done? Went. What did you do? I went. Because why we're using went here, not the present perfect? Because last year I have a time, which is last year, yesterday. However, if we're speaking about the action itself, I have tried hiking in Riyadh. It is an experience actually in here. I have tried it. In Riyadh, the action itself, when, in the past, one time in my lifetime. Also, one more action, visit archaeological sites, historical sites, maybe الأولى. We can tell in here, what have you done and when did you do it? I will tell that in 2018, I visited الأولى. So the action is important and the timing is more important in here. I focus on when in 2018 I visited الأولى. One more thing I will tell about the experience. I have been to الأولى once. So I went there only one time. I focus here on the action, what happened, and it happened one time. Okay, one more. What have you done? Explore the winter dunes. I will tell that last winter we went camping. Went, this is the action, past because we're having the time, last winter. And also I can tell I have camped many times before. So speak about what I have done. The focus here is on the action, what I have done rather than when. Okay, we spoke also about the idea of the past progressive with when and past simple. So we're combining two tenses together in one sentence to clarify the idea. Like here, we're having here on the timeline, let's look at this man. We're having the alarm rang, and what was he doing? He was sleeping. So we will say here, he was sleeping when the alarm rang. Long action will be in the progressive tense. Then suddenly something happened. I was giving a class when the door knocked. Suddenly. And you can write it the other way around. When the alarm rang, he was sleeping. So I want you to focus that with when you're going to use the ing or the progressive form. Let's try to do this one. Here, he was eating and we're having the phone is ringing. So he was eating when the telephone or the phone rang. Eating for a long time, suddenly something happened, the phone rang. Or we can write it the other way around. We can tell when the telephone rang, he was eating. You're telling me here that the long action is eating, suddenly something happened. Let's put these two sentences together. We will join them with when. Ahmed Zuwail teach in California when the Nobel Prize. Which one is the long action? Then something in the middle happened. We can tell that Ahmed Zuwail was teaching in California when he won the Nobel Prize. He only won the Nobel Prize once. It happened only one time. And teaching in California was a long action. Also, they crossed the border, the earthquake happened. Which one is the long action? They were crossing the borders when the earthquake happened. So crossing, they were walking, suddenly the earthquake happened. Long and short action. Then let's go to the second unit, and the second unit which was titled Careers. Do you remember any of the topics that we've covered together? Or anything that is related to the word careers? We've talked actually about jobs. We're having a career or a job. Some of the jobs that they were very interesting and they were not common jobs. Also, skills. What are the skills that you have to acquire, to have, so you can be a teacher, a doctor, or an interior designer? Also, we're having the idea of the future, things that you will do in your future job. What do you want to do in the future? The idea of interests, things that you want to do or things you like to do, and how to express them. Your experience, things that you know how to do or previous experience, how to write a job profile, a resume, and we're having volunteering, which is working for free, so you will be experienced, and also personality characteristics. You will describe someone. Okay, let's talk about some of the careers. I will describe a career for you or a job, and you will come up with the name of the job. It's a kind of a riddle. So I will tell you, this person works with clay. This person actually makes car models. This person actually works for automobile companies. This person actually, the job requires artistic skill, and it also, this person works with a team. So not individually, he or she will work with a team. So this person can do the job which is titled an automobile, someone who would work with the clay. Okay, so this is he. Okay, speaking about this man's job, what are the personality characteristics? He should work with clay, with others. Let's describe him. I want to do just like him. What can I do? How can you describe such a person, his personality characteristics or skills? I can tell that he should have flexibility and adaptability. Anything that you are going to do, and it is related to art and things that require skills, you have to adapt. Anything that happened, you have to adapt to change. Also, communication skills. You're not going to work by yourself. You're going to work with a team. You have to express your ideas and receive theirs. Teamwork skills, because it is not an individual work. And interpersonal skills, you are dealing with this and that. Different people, different personalities, and you will deal with them. Another occupation in here, I will describe it to you and you will tell the name of the job. Decorates houses. This person decorates houses. This person communicates with people. This person as well draws models and floor plans. This person, it requires an artistic skills and also works with a team. What do you think? This one can be an interior designer. This one is actually an interior designer. If you want to be an interior designer, what are the skills that are required that you have? They are actually flexibility and adaptability. You have also to have communication skills. You are having an idea. How are you going to express it or tell it to the others? You should have teamwork skills. You're not going to work by yourself. You will work with a team. And also organizational skills. There is always a deadline that you have to follow. Okay, we've talked about the idea of the present perfect. However, present perfect, simple and progressive. When do we use this and when do we use that? The present perfect simple, it answers a question of how many. How many pages have you read? I have read 3 pages, 30 pages. I focus much more on the number. So we focus here on the number, and she has read 30 pages. For the progressive, you answer the question of how long. So I focus much more on the timing. How long? Because you care much more. How long have you been reading that book? We focus much more on the time or how long, a duration. So we will say, how long have you been reading that book? Hanan has been reading a book for 2 hours. I care much more about the 2 hours or the duration of time. Let's try to choose here the correct answer. I have been working, or I have worked for a job for 3 months. Here we're having the time. So we will focus much more on the present perfect progressive. And I still haven't found or haven't been finding when. Number. I still haven't found when. My father has worked or has been working at many different jobs during his career. We're counting the number of jobs. So, he has worked. Adnan has written or has been writing for years. Speaking about the number of years, time, has been writing, but he hasn't received or has not been receiving any award yet. 1, 2, 0. The number is 0. Hasn't received any awards yet. How many? This is my keyword. Have you read or have you been reading? How many books have you read? You're answering a question about how many. Speaking about your abilities, your interests, things that you like or things that you dislike. Speaking about to play a sport. Here we will say, I am interested in doing something. Notice, this is the format. We will use an adjective plus a proposition plus a gerund, which is the ing. I'm interested in playing sports. Also, I'm good at playing. Notice, good at doing, playing football. I'm good at scoring. And also, I'm interested in playing with a team. So we will use the adjective with the proposition and the gerund, which is the ing form of the verb. Okay, for your homework tomorrow, I want you to look at this picture and try to come up with a comment. Whether you will describe the picture, whether you are coming with your own comment. Look at it, study it, try to reflect, express or tell anything about the picture. Okay? I guess that is it for the lesson today. Thank you so much for your time.